Okay, so welcome everyone for our first session for our new unit, and which means we will have some new learners on board today. So welcome to you guys as well, with Hader, and good luck with your qualification. So what we do is when we've got new learners on board, we just go for a quick induction, which goes for about 5 minutes. So, and then I'll answer any questions towards the end as well. So again, welcome to Hatter Institute of Education. So in the spirit of reconciliation, Hatter Institute of Education acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connection to land, sea, and community. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first inhabitants of the nation and the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, live, and study. We express our gratitude for the sharing of this land, our sorrow for the personal, spiritual, and cultural costs of the sharing, and hope we may move forward together in harmony and in the spirit of healing. We pay our respect to all First Nations people and acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. Um, I thought I edited that part. So you have 15 units to complete for this certificate in mental health. There are two key assessment methods for every unit. First one is reading quizzes, question and answer assessments, reports, research reports, and presentations that you might need to do as well. And the second part is real-time and recorded role plays. And also, guys, when we're doing our classes, can we please have ourselves on mute while I'm speaking, or while you guys are speaking, everyone else be on mute. It's just when I can hear the background noises and it just interrupts my train of thought. So just thank you in advance. So yeah, again, the second part of the assessments are the real-time and recorded role plays. So these are simulated role plays where we'll give you guys a scenario. For example, we'll be a meeting with a client and who has mental health issues or just had a came to you for assistance, and then we'll give you a few more a lot more information about what is required in the role play, and then you'll conduct a simulated role play between 5 to 10 minutes about the content that needs to be covered. But we'll cover that a lot more as we go along. Learner support is available for everybody. Also, unit study sessions are also available for each unit, which run weekly. You just got to get in contact with LSO, and there's an email address on the screen, and that will give you all the information you need in how to book them sessions. You get unit recordings for each unit, so I've been sending them out myself as well. I just sent one out to you guys or the group probably 15 minutes ago about last week's recording. But generally, someone from Hatter will send out the recordings for the unit to you guys weekly, and usually done on a Friday. Last week, I don't think they were sent. I think they had some issues, but anyway, I sent it out a few moments ago anyway. Each unit comes with a learner guide, so which covers the whole content of the unit, all the elements that are part of this unit. So we recommend you read your learner guides carefully, which will help you guys with the assessments. Attempt written assessment tasks in your portal and submit. Some have supporting documents to fill out, and that's including the role plays as well. So some of the role play assessments will require you to attach the recording of the role play, and it might also come with other requirements as well, like filling out well-being plans or evaluation plans and other documentation. You've got to prepare and record role plays as the instructions for each assessment and upload the recording. So what we mean by this is each role play assessment comes with a set of instructions, and you need to follow the instructions. So if it says, for example, that in the role play you require yourself, and two other people to play two different roles, so a father and a daughter, for instance, then you need two other people to play them roles. You can't have one person playing multiple roles. Everybody has to be on screen in the role play, and it needs to go 5 to 10 minutes. The person who is being assessed, which is you in the role play, it is advised that you don't read off a script. If you do, you will likely have to do the whole role play again. So please refrain from reading scripts. You can have notes in front of you, but no scripts. Okay, assessments. So results and turnaround and feedback. We aim to get you guys results back within 24 hours, but this is near impossible. So it's between 24 to 72 hours. You guys get 3 attempts for each assessment. I wouldn't worry too much about this. If you do require more attempts, you just got to call up or email your trainer, and they will give you another attempt for the assessment. You can apply for extensions as well. We understand adult learners have other commitments, of course, with work and family and kids. So if you need extensions, that's something you can apply for, and we'll likely get it as well. Referencing and plagiarism and use of AI. You got to reference all your work, especially the ones with the assignments and the reports. So pretty much any assessment that requires referencing will ask you for referencing at the end of the assessment. So provide it there. When it comes to use of AI, look, AI is a very handy tool, but when it comes to writing your assignments, your reports, and so on, a lot of our learners and students are using AI for the entirety of their work, and this is not good practice. We do have some tools here on Hater to detect that sort of work, and I marked a few today where I had to send back because the whole assessment was completed through use of AI. So please refrain from doing that. You can use up to 15% of your work using AI, and if you do so, you need to reference it. It's important to save, submit, and copy your assessments appropriately online as well. You don't want to write down all your responses in the assessments in the portal and not press save and then lose it all and you have to start again. So just make sure you're saving all your information on the portal. Time management. So we recommend that you guys complete all your assessments during the period where we cover the units. So for this unit, we have 3 weeks to cover this unit. So we recommend you try to get all your assessments done for this unit during that period. So you don't have a backlog of assessments that complete towards the end. All right. If you have any issues with assessments and need support again, you can reach out to LSO. There's also some tools and resources on your portal that will support you in terms of learner guides, and also there's some resources there now, videos on explaining on what is expected when it comes to role plays. So please, if you're looking to do the role plays on your own with help from your family, please watch them videos. They're very helpful in terms of what we expect as assessors when we're marking role plays. All right. So we know during this time it can be very stressful, especially for adult learners, trying to study and also managing work as well and family life. So if you do find yourself struggling, you can reach out to your trainer, your LSO, myself, or these are other reputable companies you can reach out to if you need some support. Okay, which brings us to our unit for this week, CHCLEG001, work legally and ethically. Now, before I carry on with the our unit for this week, just for the guys, the new guys, our new learners, again, welcome. So the way I run my sessions is the first part of the session, so the first hour, I try to cover as much content as I can that's involved for this unit. I try to cover all the elements and try to lead you guys to the right direction when it comes to what needs to be covered. And then the next hour or so of the session, I cover the assessments. So mainly the role play. So if there's a role play associated to the unit, which there is for this one, I would cover that in depth with you guys. If we got time, I would even do a mock role play with you guys. So I'll give you guys have an example for your role play assessments. And then during the second week and the third week, I give that opportunity for you guys to complete your role plays during class, so you don't have to, go out and look for people to help you out with the role plays. And I know it can be very difficult to align your timetables with your friends and families and other learners to complete your role plays. So that this is just another space for you guys to have an opportunity to do your role play during class, which has been working for the last month or so with our current cohort of learners. We've been smashing through a lot of role plays, which is awesome. A lot of the assessments are getting done, which is awesome, and no one's failed. So 100% success rate so far with the role play. So well done, guys. Yeah, and the one of the advantages of doing role plays during class is if you are struggling in an area or there's something lacking, I will advise you of that and then get you to do that, cover that area again. So yeah, we'll talk a bit more about role plays soon. So let's start talking about this unit. All right, so again, welcome to the unit CHCLEG001. Let me just check that chat for a sec. No, there is no role plays today. We're just going to cover the unit content. Just respond to the chat. Yep. All right, so this unit is working legally and ethically. So this unit forms the core part of your training in mental health, because everything we do in this field must be grounded in a strong understanding of the legal frameworks and ethical standards that guide your work. So whether you're supporting someone with mental health issues, um, working with children, or assisting a person with a disability, your ability to act legally and also ethically is very important in building trust and maintaining a safe and a high standard of service. Now, let's have a look at the elements on the screen for this unit. So these define exactly what you'll be learning and what you will be expected to demonstrate in your assessments also. So the first element there is identify is no, that's not identify. Identify and respond to legal requirements. Which unit is this? No, that's right. Yeah, legal requirements. That's right. Okay, so this is all about knowing what the law says and how it applies to your day-to-day work. So here you'll be looking at things like how to find and interpret legislation and legal resources and how they relate to your role. Understanding your own rights as a worker and your responsibilities to clients and the organization. Following the law through your everyday practice by working within policies, routines, procedures, and also boundaries. And also recognizing when something you see or even something you've done might have breached the law and how to report it appropriately. So think of this element as your legal toolkit. You'll become more confident in knowing where the legal boundaries are and what to do if they are being crossed. The second element for this unit is to identify and meet ethical responsibility. So working ethically. So now ethical responsibilities are slightly different from legal ones. They're not necessarily written in law. Instead, they come from professional codes, personal values, and community expectations. They're about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. So here you guys will be exploring how to access and understand ethical codes, expectations, and your job role. How your own personal values and beliefs can influence your behavior, and how to remain professional and non-judgmental in every situation. Okay. And lastly, contributing to workplace improvements. So this section of the unit focuses on your role as a team member and also a professional. So once you understand the legal and the ethical responsibilities, the next step is to support your workplace to make them more effectively. So this means identifying work practices that could be improved. It might be policies that are outdated or procedures that are not followed properly. It also involves sharing your observations and feedback in a professional and constructive way with your supervisor and your team, and taking opportunity to get involved in improving or updating policies and procedures and workplace culture. So this element is about leadership. So not necessarily in a formal position, but through your actions and your attitude. Even if you're not new to the sector, and you have a voice and your insights can make a real difference to the quality and the safety of the service. So throughout this unit, from what we would be doing through our assessments, what we'd be talking about during class, and the readings that you guys will be doing in your own time when it comes to the learning material, um, we'll use examples, case studies, and scenarios to bring these criteria to life. So we'll look at, or we'll see situations that might come up in your work, and we'll have a chance to reflect on them during class, about our own values and our decision making. So you guys also need to get clear guidance on how to meet these expectations in the workplace, whether you're already working or preparing for your first role in the mental health sector. So by the end of the unit, I hope you'll not only know what your legal and ethical responsibilities are, but you'll feel confident in acting on them, speaking up when something is wrong, something's not right, and contributing to a culture of accountability and care. Now, there's a question on this slide. I'll ask it to the group, and then we'll have a bit of a discussion. Can you think of a situation you've seen or experienced either in a workplace, school, or even in a social setting where someone had to make an ethical decision? What happened and what made it difficult or important? So was there ever a time where you had to speak up at a workplace? Sam?
Yeah, a couple of times I would say, like back in school, you'd
Yeah,
see you'd see one of your friends getting picked on by a group, and it was like you could either help them or you could either be picked on just like him.
yeah,
Uh, I didn't care. I went stood up and
yeah,
took whatever shit that I had. But yeah, like it was in the back of my mind. Or do I really want to deal with the hassle and whatnot? And then I was I just didn't care in the end and just went helping because whatever.
yeah. Awesome. So you chose to do the ethical thing and to help someone out that needed your assistance, that needed your support. That happened to me in high school too, but I learned from, probably the second time, one with the first time I watched, like everyone else did, and then, obviously that plays in your mind as a kid, and then you learn from them mistakes, and you tell yourself next time that happens, I'm going to stand up and do the right thing. And I did the next time. So yeah, most of the time, children need to watch the first one to learn what to like to play it out in their minds later on, and come up with a scenario on how to play that out in the future. Jody?
Mine was around, we had our mum in a dementia ward
Yep.
for 5 years, and the care that she was receiving was inadequate. So we had to obviously raise a few things around just changing the bed linen and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, when you've got a loved one with dementia, they don't have a voice.
Yeah.
So we had to be that voice and represent the family on behalf of her.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a big one for us.
Yeah, it would have been very difficult. Sorry to
Yeah,
hear
it
that.
was.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been very difficult. Thank you for sharing. Deborah.
So I currently work in a high school, and a part of my role, obviously, I need to like a mandatory reporter. So sometimes it's difficult. Some of the things that the students might tell you that have been going on at home, or you have 14-year-olds saying, "I went to a party on the weekend, and someone gave me booze, or someone bought me some bit of weed to smoke or something." So it's difficult when you've got a relationship with them in the classroom, but then you also kind of have to do the
Mm,
right thing and report them or the person that's provided them with something. It makes it really hard to do something like
yeah.
that.
Yes, it does. Very
You sort
hard.
of, yeah, you need to sort of have those boundaries where,
Yeah.
yes, I'm your friend while we're in the classroom, but it's still my job to, yeah, to look out for you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I could imagine working in a high school setting, it could be very hard because you're trying to build that rapport with the young people, that trusting rapport, and you almost have this friendship
Yeah,
with them. And then when you need to address something as part of your role,
yeah, address some
it
legal
gets
issues that kind
murky.
of makes it a bit
Yeah.
tricky. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, which I find it very difficult in my role. So I work, I don't know, for the new guys, I work as a manager in one of the youth justice centers in Sydney, a correctional center. I have this difficulty with the young people too because I build this rapport and trust with the young person. And when they do something wrong, I obviously have to um, follow policy and procedure and make sure, in terms of consequences and punishment, that then policy
yeah,
and procedures are followed with the young people. And that can be difficult at times as well.
yeah, absolutely.
You've got to play the friend role and also the parent role in the same time, which can be very difficult. Thank you, Deborah. Amber Lee?
So I used to work as a receptionist at a for a child psychologist. And so there's a lot of like ethics and confidentiality stuff that goes into that. But one of the big issues we had was that there was a one of the parents were split up, and one of the parents called asking about their child's appointment, and because proper file notes and things hadn't been made in this child's file,
Yeah.
they weren't aware that there was one parent that wasn't supposed to know that they were coming to like see my psychologist, my boss, and that they were separated and weren't supposed to have any kind of contact. So
Mm,
the mum had called and said, "Oh, what's her name's mum? Just double checking about her appointment times and confirming." And I'd been like brand new receptionist. They hadn't trained me very well. I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, whatever." And then when they came in, it was this whole thing with the dad and the stepmom and the like estranged mother. And I was
mm,
like, why was this not in the notes? And why was I
yeah.
not trained how to deal with this? So then we got all this ethics training about how with confidentiality and communication and kids and all of that.
Yeah.
So um crazy stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Very sticky situation. We got to act where there's actually a role play that's very similar to your story. So it's a role play about confidentiality and ethics and all that sort of stuff. Not for this unit, another unit. And then the role play is how you raise that issue up with your supervisor and what you think needs to be done in terms of confidentiality and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yasmin?
Yeah. Many years ago, I worked for a finance company. The corporate world can be quite vicious, actually.
Yeah.
And we had a young girl that had not been with the company for very long. And I used to chat to her every now and again, and she kind of shared with me that something that the managing director's executive assistant said, and she was very upset about it.
Mm.
I thought, oh, okay, so what do I do? I didn't go to HR, but I told my direct manager, and it just set off a chain reaction. And the EA, yeah, I think she must have got spoken to because she came back to me, not directly, but indirectly. And there
Mm.
was all sorts of things going on, but it got sorted out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was meant to be confidential, but people know, they just know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. Especially in workplaces where there's a lot of staff, especially if there's more than 15 employees in a workplace, there's no such thing as confidentiality, unfortunately. Everyone knows
there's
everything.
there's meant to be
Yeah.
code of conduct, but
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
it doesn't happen. There's bullies in there. So
Of course, yes, there is. All right, thank you. I'll take one more. Laura.
Hi.
Hey, Laura.
Putting home because she
So you're just cutting out, Laura.
started. Yeah, can you hear me?
I
Hello?
can, yeah.
Yeah, my internet connection is really bad today. Sorry.
It's okay. All
Can you
good.
hear me? Is it smooth?
It's okay at
Yeah.
the moment, yeah.
So yeah, a few years ago, I had to put my mum into a nursing home because she got dementia and she was saying all kinds of things, her around it. And it was
Sorry, Laura, you're just cutting out a lot. I really apologize.
just so hard to know, like in myself. Sorry. Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
you're
My
cutting
connection
out.
is really bad.
Yeah, sorry, but I did get the gist of
Ah,
that. It was something about your mother
yeah.
in hospital with dementia, and what did she raise some concerns with you? Is that right? Sorry. All right. We'll just keep going on, guys.
Yeah. New.
All right. Sorry, Laura, your connections. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. So let's talk a little bit about the unit assessments for this unit. So we have a quiz, a case study, and two role plays from uh, what I what I what I saw. Might be different at your end, but from my end, this is what it is. Is this correct, guys? Did anyone have a chance to have a look?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
right,
correct.
bro.
Okay, so what we'll do is during the break, I'll look at each role play. Um, we we will likely cover the first role play next week and then the second one the week after. I just got to sit down and have a look at them. So hopefully they're not that difficult, but it should be right. We should get it done. All right. So this unit is divided into 3 weeks, so you've got 3 sessions. But because of our new concept on how we're running our sessions now, I will talk about the learning content. I'll lead you guys to the right, lead you in the right direction on in terms of, this is what the unit's about. This is what we're trying to achieve through the elements, through the unit content, and then it will be up to you guys to go back to your learning resources and have a look at that. So while we do that is I want to concentrate our time more on our assessments because I think we're learning more by doing our assessments as well, and we're giving you guys the opportunity to complete them role plays as well. So it's been working so far, so we'll keep going with that. So session one, so the traditional session one for this unit is them areas that are covered that you can see on your screen. Just 1 second, guys. All right. So this session is all about building a strong foundation for your future practice in the community service sector or the mental health sector. Legal and ethical responsibilities are core to everything we do in this field. And here during this session, or the learning outcomes here will prepare you to understand what's expected of you in a real world workplace setting. So firstly, there you'll see sources of legal and ethical information that are specific to your role, your work role. So you, in any community service job, in mental health services as well, you need to know what laws apply to your work, what industry codes you're expected to follow, and what internal policies guide your daily practice. During the 3 weeks and through your assessments and your learning guide, you'll be introduced to these sources and start developing the skills to find and understand information that keeps your practice safe and compliant. Secondly, on the screen, as you can see, is NDIS, so the National Disability Insurance Scheme. A lot of you guys will be very familiar with this. So the NDIS is one of the most important systems currently shaping disability support services in Australia. Whether or not you work directly under NDIS, you'll likely be working with clients who receive NDIS funding. Again, during this time, during the 3 weeks, I hope that you guys will be learning about the principles behind the NDIS, the standards providers must meet, and how the scheme promotes choice, control, and dignity for people living with disability. Next, we'll be looking at the rights and responsibilities of workers, employers, and clients. This is crucial to creating a safe and fair workplace for everyone. Now, as a worker, you have legal rights such as the right to a safe work environment, responsibilities such as following policies, treating clients with respect, and reporting concerns. Similarly, for employers and clients have their own set of rights and responsibilities, of course. So understanding these roles will help you navigate your workplace with confidence and also at a high professional standard. Another area that is covered in this unit is privacy, confidentiality, and disclosure. Now, in mental health, you will be trusted with very personal and often very sensitive information about the people that you support, your clients. So you need to know when to keep information private, when you are legally allowed to share it, and how to do so in a way that protects the client and the organization. Now, this session will outline the legal and ethical rules around handling information and what to do in situations where confidentiality may need to be broken. And finally, informed consent. So consent isn't just about getting someone to sign a form. It's about making sure they fully understand what they are agreeing to and that they're doing it voluntarily. It's very important. Okay. All right. So why is it important to understand both your responsibilities and the rights of your client before you start delivering support? What do you think it's so important that they understand the responsibilities before we start providing a service? Rani.
I think it helps establish, professional boundaries that you're both going to adhere to during the support service.
Yeah. So understanding both your responsibilities and your client's rights is very important because it forms that foundation of safe, ethical, and legal compliance as well. Yeah. Ben?
By doing that, you're already giving your clients some trust they'll have in you, which is so important because without the trust, the client's not going to say shit to you. So, Yeah, and that's what I'm finding with a client now. Yeah, I see a lot of people spinning bullshit, but they're not listening to their client and they're not giving them truthful facts. So a lot of these people who are either sociopaths or not, they'll know when you're lying. So it's so important to obviously be honest with them, take what they're saying to you, take it on board, and keep it sacred.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, being honest and truthful in what we're doing and working with our clients is very important, especially when you're working with clients who are compulsive liars and who have that trait and have that issue when it comes to being honest. And for us to help the client in terms of, teaching them better life skills like being honest and truthful, the only way we can do that is lead by example. And the only way to do that is to be honest yourself and honest in the way you deal with the client. Alec.
Yeah, hey, is it I guess partly as well, like to make sure that you stay within like the job role and responsibilities or the scope of it, to make sure you don't sort of step out of any lines or boundaries and go do anything that could actually kind of end up with you getting in trouble as well, like giving an extra medication or something and staying in those lines.
Excellent point. Probably one of the biggest issues I have as a manager in my workplace is staff not staying in their lane and trying to do things that are outside their scope of their role, which is an ongoing battle for me. Yeah, I have this issue with the psychs that I supervise, the caseworkers, the officers. Everyone's trying to be someone else and just not doing their own role. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Yeah, it's very important that we are professional. We stay within the policies and procedures, and we stay true to our work title and what is in our what do you call it? Our contract, I guess, and what we're supposed to do as a support worker, and not go outside that is very important. Yeah, thank you for that. Yasmin?
Clarity.
Yes.
I mean, this is not quite in the field of mental health, but last week I had a procedure, it was an endoscopy, and I signed a written consent, but as just before they and I can't say that word, anesthetized me, they just kind of questioned me again, and the nurse was lovely. She's like, "Yep, we got consent," and then they knocked me out. So it's more like trust. Someone else said trust, and clarity. So
That's
so
right,
they're
yeah.
aware of what the client or patient is in for.
Exactly. So when you understand what you're in for and you understand both sides, your role and your client's entitlements, then you're better prepared to make a better decision and also build respectful relationships, make confident decisions, and also navigate difficult situations as well. Rohit?
Yeah, hi. So I feel that when you understand the responsibilities on your side, I think it's easier to convey the expectations on the other side as well. So just from an expectation setting point of view, clients should not expect something completely out of the blue, which you're not ready to deliver.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, it's very important that you understand your own limitations when it comes to the legal side of things and your work title and what your limitations are at work as well. And that way you'll have a better understanding of what you can provide as a service to the client as well. Excellent. All right. All right. So this is week two's content. So this is the traditional week two content. So here, the most important principles that guide ethical and respectful practice in community services. These are the things that you guys will be covering by reading your learning materials and completing your assessments. So these principles are not just about following rules, they're about understanding the rights and the needs of people we support and ensuring that our behaviors as professionals always uphold those rights. Okay. So first point there is human rights and human needs. So this includes the basic rights that every individual is entitled to, such as dignity, safety, freedom of expression, and cultural identity. So during these 3 weeks, reading your learning material, doing your assessments through our classes, I hope you guys will be learning that these rights link to your everyday responsibilities and why they must be upheld in all interactions with clients, families, and colleagues, your fellow employees. The next part there is anti-discrimination. So discrimination in any form, whether based on race, gender, disability, age, or religion, is not only unethical, but it is unlawful. We need to learn how to identify discrimination, how to avoid it in your practice, and what to do if you witness it happening in front of you in the workplace. Another area that's covered is the complaints management. So in any professional setting, things can go wrong, but how those situations are handled can make it make a difference. So we got to look at how complaints should be received, documented, and resolved in a fair and transparent way. It's important in our role that we are supporting clients and our colleagues that want to raise these concerns. Code of conduct and ethics, which you'll find in every single workplace, especially in community services and mental health services as well. These are official guidelines that set expectations across the whole sector. So they help organizations and workers deliver a service that is consistent, accountable, and safe. So these standards, so you'll by reading your learning material, your assessments, and throughout the learning in this next 3 weeks, you'll learn where these standards come from and how they apply to your work. And finally, code of conduct and ethics. So these are frameworks for professional behaviors. They guide and how you treat others, how you make decisions, and respond to difficult situations. Here we'll be looking at how we follow these codes and why they are important to earning trust and maintaining integrity in your role. Everything we cover, you guys will be covering in the next few weeks, is about building ethical awareness and professional responsibility. That way you'll be better prepared to act fairly, make sound decisions, and support the rights of the people that you support at work. Which leads us to our next question for you guys. So what do you think it's important to understand human rights before working directly with clients? Sam?
So you can inform them of their rights. They might not know their own rights, and that's why they come to you and need help, and you need to inform them of that.
Yeah.
They're having problems, whether it's in the workplace or socially or whatever. Yeah, some people don't know their rights.
Yeah.
So you have to inform them.
Yes, a lot of people don't know their rights, their basic human rights, and you're right, by knowing the basic human rights for yourself, that way you're better equipped to assist your clients as well in that aspect as well, especially if they're being mistreated by service or workplace or anything like that. That way you can provide the right information and guidance for your clients. Dashika.
Yeah, as a worker, it's you can then educate yourself better as well. You will understand better where you need to maybe report an incident or say yes or no to a request you receive from a client.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. So knowing human rights, but basic elements and principles of human rights, then you'll have a better understanding of that aspect. And when you deal with your clients, and if something stands out, or you identify an issue there, a breach of human rights, then you can act on that. So yeah, so understanding human rights is essential. It's absolutely essential before working with any client, because it shapes the foundation on how you provide support and interact with people. Human rights are not just a legal concept, they're about recognizing the inherent value and dignity of every person. They affirm that all people, regardless of their background, or their circumstances, deserve to be treated with respect and fairness and equality. This is a very unique service, working in community service or mental health services, because you're dealing with people. You're not working in retail, you're not selling clothing, and you're doing a service for a human being. So it's the level of professionalism and the level of care goes up 100-fold, because you're dealing with a human life. So you've got to be very careful. You've got to understand all these principles and the importance of your care, and the importance of how you deliver your care to your clients. In community services, we often work with individuals who are vulnerable or have, sorry, or have experienced things like trauma, exclusion, and discrimination. These clients might already feel powerless and also devalued in society. So if we don't have a solid understanding of their rights, we may unintentionally reinforce the negative experiences that they may have lived in the past. So by making decisions for them instead of with them, by limiting their choices, or by failing to challenge discriminatory behavior. All right. Which leads us to the last part of this unit. So, dignity of risk is the first part here. So this means recognizing that all people, including those we support, have the right to make choices, even if those choices involve an element of risk. You'll hear this a lot during while you complete your certificate in mental health, the dignity of risk. You'll learn how to support a person's independence while still meeting your duty of care obligations. So an example of this could be, if you're working in a residential care facility and you're supervising a young person who's 16 years old, and obviously you can't force him to do the right thing. You can only advise him what's right and wrong. And if he decides to go out during the night after his curfew time, and he said, "Oh, there's a party. There's going to be some alcohol and that sort of stuff." And I'm going to probably have a few drinks with the guys, with my friends, and I'll come back. That's an example of dignity to risk. Now you can explain to him the risks involved in that behavior and advise him why he shouldn't do that. Shouldn't go out during the night, past curfew, and the risks of drinking at an early age, how it can affect him developmentally in terms of his brain function, all that sort of stuff. You can provide him with all this information, but then at the end of the day, it's his choice. So that's an example of dignity of risk. The next part is exploring personal values and ethics. So during the 3 weeks, you'll look at bringing your own beliefs, your life experiences, and your opinions into the workplace through your assessments, your role play assessments, and the other assessments as well. And of course, the learning material. I hope you guys will be learning how to be aware of your own values and ensure that they don't interfere with the ability to deliver non-judgmental, person-centered care. Okay, this is very important because you're gonna meet a lot of clients in this industry where you don't agree with them. It might be their political view. It might be the way they treat their kids or their partners. You're gonna meet a lot of people like that, and you got to find a way to work with them professionally and give them the utmost best care possible, even though you don't agree with certain things. We'll also discuss ethical dilemmas. So those situations where there's no perfect solution and you have to make a tough call. So during this time, or during the entirety of your learning with Haida, you'll be developing the skills to think critically, reflect, and consult with others when faced with these kinds of choices. We'll be also looking at professional boundaries, which is very important in any role, especially when it comes to mental health and community services. Knowing where to draw the line between being supportive and becoming too personally involved can be very tricky for a lot of people. So maintaining boundaries is very important in keeping clients safe and to protecting yourself and your role. We'll also look at conflict of interest as well. So these are situations where your personal life or outside relationships could affect your professional decision. You'll learn how to identify conflict early and what steps to take when it arises. And, one of the traditional methods for this is a lot of staff or people that I know and myself. I usually go to the gym before I go to work, just so I can clear my mind before I go to work. That way, I go there and I'm just focused entirely on my role. Some people meditate. Some people go for a run before they go to work. Some people park in the car park an hour early in my workplace and read a book for an hour as well. So they just solely focus on the job at hand. And finally, we'll be looking at child protection and mentor reporting during this 3 weeks as well. So if you're working with children or young people, or even come across them in your role, which I believe you will, you are legally required to report signs of abuse or neglect, which you will most likely see in the mental health sector. You'll understand, well, you'll have a better understanding of what your responsibilities are, what signs to look for, and how to report in a way that's timely, respectful, and appropriate. And the usual answer for that is if you see misconduct, you need to report it as soon as possible. Ben?
Mate, I just wanted to ask you back to, obviously, because you work in the correction unit and all, and you would deal with obviously the young troubled ones, and whether, you put an example, you hope they do the right thing, but then they don't. How do you go by, expressing to them that they've done the wrong thing, or, without them, getting really angry and thinking, oh, stuff you, you're no one, blah, blah. How do you, because I'm interested.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. First you've got to understand that you're working with clients that are going to make mistakes. Every human being makes mistakes, especially young people who are in a correctional facility. They're going to make mistakes, and you've got to expect their mistakes to happen.
Yeah.
As a parent and as someone who's worked in the industry for over 15 years, I've come to learn that negative reinforcement or negative talk to young people never works. So if a young person does something wrong and you say, look, you fucked up, mate, you shouldn't do that again, that doesn't work with young people. What works with young people is giving them time to speak about what happened, giving them their own voice, get them to explain why they think the situation arose, and then talk about solutions or talk about strategies that will prevent that from happening in the future as well. If we're playing the blame game with young people, it's not going to work. They're just going to resent you. They're going to resent the system, and they're just going to, their behavior is going to escalate in future. They're going to say, well, fuck this guy. I'm just going to next time I do something, it's going to be worse. So You got to treat the situation with empathy and with an open mind, because we're working with young people again. Not only in my industry, but when you guys work with young people, you got to understand that these kids, troubled kids, their minds are still developing. They're not adults, so they're still learning. Their brain is still developing. Their prefrontal cortex is still developing. So that's the part of the brain where you make all the right decisions, um, where you make decisions, and that part of their brain is still developing. And if you've got drugs and alcohol involved and mixed in that, that's going to affect that even more.
Yeah.
So you've got to take all that into account when working with young people.
No, it's just interesting because I had a bit of an incident today with a guy that I'm caring for, and
Yeah.
he was obviously shouting because he was going to lose it because let's just say we were returning a stereo that he had pretty much smashed to get open. And I knew we weren't going to get a refund straight away. And the lady's looking at me and I'm like, yeah, okay. And he's just shouting and I'm saying, calm, mate. You and I both know that lady, she's doing all she can to try and help us out right now. We've got to give her the time of day. And he was like, it was so funny. And it wasn't that my voice was stern. It was just like, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. And oh, I'm sorry to the lady. So it was just really interesting how quickly it went from escalating and then it just died down. So yeah, it wasn't that I had achieved or won, but it was just like I made it clear that it's not okay to develop people when
Yeah.
even if you are quick and fixated on your aggression, like that person's doing the right thing and they're trying to help you. But obviously in their head, they're like, no one's helping me. Like, I need this. And yeah, anyway, it was an interesting day.
Sounds like you handled it really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Yeah. No, that's
Cheers
good.
for that example. Yeah.
No, all good. Martin.
Yeah, Cheyenne, thanks. Just wondering, what age group are we talking about when you say working in the detention facilities there, and some of these kids that are, gone off the track or whatever? What ages are we talking about? And with some of them, are they incarcerated for a long time? And have you seen a difference in some of them from when you first came across them to now?
Yeah, so I work in a place called Cobham Youth Justice Centre in Sydney. It's the biggest youth correctional facility in Australia. So we got kids between 15 to 21. So why 21? So if a young person is 16, for example, and he's in for murder, and he has the court sentence him 10 years. So he'll do an amount of his sentence till he's 21 with youth justice and then move on to correctional facilities. That's how it works in New South Wales, which very lucky for some young people. Some states are not like that. Yeah, I've worked with kids for a week, 2 weeks. Some I've had, unfortunately, in and out of the system since they were 12 years old as well. So kids can be locked up in New South Wales from age of 11 and up. And I've had kids I've known them since they were 12 till they reached the age of 18. So, yeah. And unfortunately, some of them have spent a lot of their childhood with us in youth justice. And you do see with some of them, I want to say a lot of them, some of them, the shift in mindset in terms of their criminal behavior, their aggression, and just their view of life as well. It does shift, and they do make better choices when they're older, and they don't come back to custody. But unfortunately, a lot of them do come back and graduate to adult facilities because of their environments. Because once they're out of custody, they go back to their environment. So they go back to the shitty school, they go back to the shitty family, they go back to the shitty circumstances that they were in previously. So it's just a cycle, unfortunately. So there's only so much we can do in custody. Yeah.
Sure, it sounds challenging, but
yeah,
yeah, it's interesting information. Thanks for that.
No, all good. All good. All right, let's go on to the next one, guys. I think this is our last slide. It's our last question. So I'll ask you guys, why is it important to maintain professional boundaries, even if you feel emotionally connected to a client? Why do you think it is important to maintain professional boundaries, even if you feel emotionally connected to a client? Sam?
Just because, you know, you don't want to get the client's hopes up into thinking that you can do something that you're not qualified to, or it's within your scope. You know, you're a mental health worker, so
Yeah.
you know, anything past that is something that you're not really trained to deal with. So
Yes.
yeah,
That's right. Yeah, you got to stay within your means and within your scope. Definitely, yeah. Deborah.
You don't want to get emotionally involved. It might cloud your judgment as well. So you might think, oh no, he's only just doing it this one time, or but it might be something that's reoccurring that you do need to deal with. Or say, like I have some students at school, they don't necessarily come from very good homes, so they may not get a birthday present, for instance. So if I was to feel sorry for them and buy them a present, that sort of crosses the boundary a little bit as well. And you don't want to seem like you're favouring them at all, or doing anything like that just isn't right.
Yeah. Thank you. Tony.
Going back to when I was in my youth work, it was almost like do not get emotionally connected to your clients.
Yeah.
You can be empathetic without being emotionally connected, I believe.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times they would use that against you as a worker, the young people, either by colluding with them, as they would say, or just saying, dobbing you in and trying to get you in trouble. And sort of, as you know, talk amongst themselves. And so stick with that professional boundary and do not get emotionally connected. It's way beyond professional.
Yeah, it can be very hard working with young people when it comes to boundaries, professional boundaries as well. But when I first started in corrections, this is when I worked in the adults. The chief warden spoke to me one time and he said, it's very important that you are fair, firm, and friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just got to make sure you cover all aspects. So you're fair, you're firm, and you're also friendly as well, which has always comes to my mind when I'm dealing with clients.
Yeah.
That's
saying, can I ask, does that mean you still get emotionally connected?
I don't anymore. No, I don't. I've learned not to invest too much emotionally.
Yeah.
With clients, I keep it completely professional because of all the lessons I've learned in the past. Which is the way to go. I told this because I run a lot of the training in my workplace as well. So I'm working with a lot of the youth officers when they first start, and I'm trying to get that message through their heads that this is not here to make friends. We're here to provide a service for young people. It's only good for your well-being and the young person's well-being. If you have professional boundaries with your clients at all times and not cross that line, it's only going to be better for you emotionally as well, that you're not too invested as well. And if you are too invested, you're going to make you're not going to make the right decisions.
No.
Like sometimes, because I've seen a lot of youth officers, I've seen a lot of workers in various places that I worked in. If they're too invested with the client, they make the wrong decisions. They let the clients get away with behaviors that they shouldn't be letting them get away with, which is detrimental for their rehabilitation process, and also affects the
other workers.
The workers the iron workers' development as a worker as well, and it affects their skills, and also causes mistrust with other workers, with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to explain. It was a big, because it was out of home care. So it was just a team, and then the client
Yeah.
just,
Out
manipulate
of
the
home
team.
care is one of the hardest industries to work in.
Thank you.
Very hard. Yeah, residential. I work in residential care as well, casually. I
Yeah,
work for a friend. I do a bit of team leading with them, and it's a very, very hard industry. Because most of the time it's one staff member, one kid,
yeah,
no one there supporting you, and it's like you got to be a jack of all trades. You got to be a first aid officer. You got to be somewhat of a security officer for the community as well, in case
yeah,
your client does something wrong. You got to be a cook. You got to be a cleaner. You got to
yeah.
be a counselor. You got to do all sorts of things during the day.
Still got case notes and
Yeah, you got to do reports and all sorts of things. So it's a
shift
very
work. Yeah.
multi-dimensional jobs that doesn't get enough credit,
Thank you.
unfortunately. But yeah, thank you for that. Ben.
Yeah, mate. I just wanted to say, just because I know you want to move on to next area, but back to when you said that a lot of them are liars. So at the same time, you don't want to show too much weakness because they're going to be reluctant on that.
Yeah.
Obviously you want to show some sort of sincerity, whatever, but they want a strong figure. Obviously, you're caring for them. You've got
Yeah.
to stand strong for them. So yeah, you've got to be that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That person.
exactly. So you got to be firm and
Yeah.
friendly and fair and all in the same time. It's very hard to do, but
Well, I'm only finding out that they're lying. So it's like, it's not that I'm playing nice guy or anything because I'm new to it, but it's like, oh, shit, I think he's bullshitting. And then I'll speak to the manager, goes, Benny, he's bullshit. I'm like, I knew that.
yeah.
Okay, all right,
Well,
fair enough.
that's
Yeah.
another thing a lot of people get wrong in their beginning of their journey when they're in this industry as well. They have high expectations when it comes to things like honesty
Yeah.
and some when it comes to manners, working with clients. These guys are different
Yeah.
to other people. They've got mental health issues. They've got other challenges. You can't expect them to have the same mannerism and the same honesty levels as yourself.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have any expectation of clients when you first meet them. You got to get to know them. The only way to get their mannerisms and their things like honesty and all that upper level is to display that behavior yourself. Yes, it's very important. Don't have high expectations when dealing with clients, guys. It's
So this is the
you'll get
hard
very
thing.
disappointed.
This is the hard thing, Sean, because I've got my company, they're calling me and he's like, oh, what's going on there? Someone's on the phone, like blah, blah. And I'm like, oh no, you're good, mate. It's not, it's nothing important, but they still won't believe it. But it's like, oh, we're gonna go do this. So I'm gonna try and play this tactic, like, oh well, mate, how about we do the dishes before we go out?
Yeah.
Just to try and get it back into, I don't know, like jumping the gun a bit, but obviously we've got to try and show some, I don't know, some home skills before we get the rewards, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And now that you know that triggers the client with
Yeah.
the phone calls, maybe you
Yeah.
could take that phone call in a private area next time.
I know. Well, he follows me. It's crazy, but
Yeah, it's hard.
no, look,
Yeah.
it's all a learning curve. It's a bit of, I can't say a bit of fun, but it's yeah, it's blowing my mind. It's pretty good. Quite
Yeah, that's
enjoying
good.
it.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's good.
Yeah.
Mickey.
Hello, can you
Yep.
hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, I also like I mean rather than answering the question, I also just want to share a little bit of what has been happening to my recent work. So I just started working with Anglicare just a
Oh,
couple weeks ago.
nice.
Yeah, because they also actually I just got to know they also have the mental health department. Before I thought that just like aged care like a facility, but they also got the mental health department. So I do realize because we deal a lot of with elderly people, right? They are very vulnerable, at least physically, right? So when I started, I was like really, really careful with them. I was super polite and humble, sweet. But when I say my like manager or my mentor or my supervisor, they are kind of like, sometimes I don't know, maybe because I'm from an Asian culture, so kind of conservative and like polite. But sometimes I kind of somehow feel, oh, is that a little bit like too firm? Is that a little bit like a too emotionless? Like, why? They are all like elderly people. They are very close to the end of their life journey. So isn't that we should be very delicate and be nice and be sweet?
Yeah.
So so my manager just told me not really. Because sometimes like you think they are right about this is already sometimes can be an insult for them. And sometimes, if you really want to do everything for them, they will make them feel very hopeless and useless. This is not good. So the best way to do it is just, be like you said, be nice, be friendly, but be very firm.
Yeah.
Never cross the line. So yeah, I'm still in the learning process. It's just like a lot of
Yeah.
new things to
Good.
learn.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the industry that you're speaking about, the nursing industry, you'll get that characteristics from with the staff because of their high workload and high stress environment in the workplace. And unfortunately, they don't have the required support that they need in their workplaces. Could be financially, like the pay they get is not enough, definitely not enough. And training and support they get from their managers is nowhere near enough as well. So obviously that all plays in the way they treat their clients as well. But I would keep going the way you're going, Mickey. That's the way to approach it with your clients, to be friendly and empathetic to your clients. But you're right, you've got to be firm as well. You've got to make sure they don't take advantage of your kindness as well, and make sure they don't get into bad habits themselves. Tiffany,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah. So just I feel like as well for your own safety, if they become too attached,
yeah,
the line gets blurred and they might see you as not your carer, but maybe a loved one, and you're sort of confusing that relationship and that professionalism, making it more seem like you're a friend. And while you do care for them, it is in a different way. Maybe if they push, for your phone number, I worked in the NDIS for a bit and they made it really clear that, while you like them and they may be asking for your phone number, it's important to not give that out, even though you care for them, because they could be calling you all hours of the night. So I
Never
think
give
it's just
that
set a
out.
boundary, a strong boundary.
yes, yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Yeah, can get very tricky. Yeah, when you're working with a client and they start blurring the lines themselves, thinking that this is more than just a work client relationship. This is like a friendship sort of thing, and then yeah. But you got to make it very clear from the get-go, I think, with clients you work with. It's very, very important that you make it very clear from the beginning that this is just a work client interaction, and we do care for you, and we do care about your journey and your rehabilitation journey as well. But this is completely business, I guess. You don't say that, but you make them understand that point of view. All right. Thanks, guys. Let's have a break. We'll have a 15-minute break and then we'll come back and I will go through the first role play with you guys that we will cover next week. And we'll talk about that when we come back in 15 minutes. Okay, have a break, walk around, stretch your legs, have something to eat, and I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. All right. Sorry for cutting you off. We just got to cover these as well, and then we'll call it a night. So we're gonna now talk about task 3 of this unit, which is a role play. So what you need to do for this role play. So you're playing the role of Estelle Lovett, a community. One second, there's just background noise again there. Okay. All right, so you're playing the role of Estelle Lovett, a community support worker at First Access. Tony, sorry, yeah. Just on mute, Tony.
Sorry, who do I speak to? Is be the LSO to open up this module for me?
Oh,
I hasn't been opened at all.
let me just.
Mine wasn't today until I emailed them at about 5 o'clock, and then they just opened them up straight away for me.
I'll just send the email for you. CHCLEG001. Okay. I just sent that email, Tony.
To LSO.
Yeah, to LSO, and I've attached you to the email.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Tati?
I'm the same. I don't think I have the right course. The ones I've been doing are based on like the Australian First Nations people and everything. So this is not looking familiar. Is that correct? Or
Yeah. They did change the order of the units we were doing. Did you complete this unit already?
I haven't seen this unit yet, no.
All right, we'll chuck you in. What's your actual name?
Tatiana.
All right. Can you just type in your full name into the chat, and then I'll send them an email. CHCLEG001. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So you're playing the role as Estelle Lovett, a community support worker at First Access. On your admin day at work, a few things happened that made you think the workplace could be more safer and more respectful. The first thing is a work health and safety problem. So the storeroom is a mess. A box almost hits you. A Stanley knife was left open on the top of a box, which is dangerous, and a clear safety hazard. The next one is an ethical professional conduct issue. So you overhear a co-worker, her name is Sandra, talking rudely and unfairly about another client on the phone, saying things like, what did she say? That they don't need choice in meals or access to group activities. This goes against the values and ethics of supporting people with dignity and respect. So before you get here, so this is part, so that's the first part of that is the email. So when you do the email to, when you write the email to the director, which is Dia Headley, about your suggestions, which is this assessment here, part A, then we go into the role play. So who's in the role play? So we've got you, which is Estelle. You'll be talking through your two important ideas and explaining why they matter. And the people in the meeting are Dia Headley, which will be played by someone, and Juka Sepp will be played with someone else. So Dia is your director. She already read your email and wants to hear more. She is supportive and wants to improve the workplace. Juka is your co-worker. He's hearing your ideas for the first time and is also supportive. He actually knows Sandra, the staff member who made the inappropriate comments, but only reveals that during the conversation. So, what you need to talk about in the role play, you got to make sure you explain both issues very clearly. Explain or describe the unsafe storeroom and the rude comments to Sandra that Sandra made, sorry. You got to explain why these are a problem. So talk about the legal and ethical responsibilities like workplace safety laws and the need to respect client rights. You got to refer to policies. So mention that the changes connect to things like WH&S policies, code of conduct, or client rights, and also the responsibilities policy. Ask for feedback as well. So ask Dia and Juka if they think your suggestions are helpful and if they have any other ideas or any comments. And suggest improvements in policies or to the policies. Talk about how you'd like to be involved in reviewing or improving workplace procedures to stop these issues from happening again. So when we are marking this, what are we looking for as assessors? So we want to make sure that you are speaking clearly and professionally, that you understand how to improve safety and ethics in a workplace, and that you refer to workplace policies to support your ideas. It's got to go for a minimum of 5 minutes, of course, under 10 minutes, but at least 5 minutes. Yeah, so that's the first one. Any questions on that one, guys? No, okay, good. And then the next part of that role play is just a few questions that you have to answer, which is quite straightforward. All right, let's look at the next one, which is task 4, which is another role play. I think this comes in 2. Let's have a look. So part A. So here again, you'll be playing the role of Estelle Lovett, a support worker. Here you've been supporting a client named Emily, who had just been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Emily has been through domestic and family violence and wants to keep her health conditions private, even from her own family. Emily's sister, Lara, really wants to know about what's going on with her sister, Emily, her health, and she's very upset when you say, or when Estelle says that she can't share that information. This is the role play I was talking to you about. Who was talking about it before?
Emily.
Emily, that's right, yeah. So it is this unit. There you go. So now, after all that, after the scenario has unfolded, you have a meeting with your supervisor, John Ford, the head of care, to talk about what happened. So there are 5 key areas that we'll be looking at during this meeting with John. So you've got to talk about the situation. So Emily doesn't want to share her diagnosis, but her sister Lara is pushing for answers. So that's pretty much the situation. You got to explain how you followed the law and workplace policies. So you respected Emily's rights and privacy, and speak a little bit about that. Talk about how you stayed professional. So talk about, staying calm, respectful in the moment, and talk about how you didn't get your emotions or your own opinions taken over. And suggest some work practice improvements. So come up with an idea, one idea that could help staff better deal with them sort of situations in the future. For example, clearer information for families about client rights, or more staff training on managing family requests. The last part is to refer to first access policies, like the privacy and confidentiality policy, client rights policy, and code of conduct as well. Just to touch on a little bit, just mention it. Again, what we're looking here is how you clearly explain the issue at hand and what unfolded. Recognize that this is a legal and ethical dilemma, so privacy versus family rights. Very important that you stay non-judgmental and respectful. Stick to the policy and the legislation. Use problem solving to suggest improvements, and speak clearly, calmly, and professionally during the role play. Again, minimum of 5 minutes, maximum of 10. Okay. Any questions on that one? The second role play of this assessment. Victoria.
Just double checking. So we're doing role play 1 next week and then role play 2 the week after.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
No worries. All right, so you're playing the role of Duker, a community support worker at First Access. You just found out that your co-worker Lachlan is doing a few things. One, he's taken supplies home like medicine and gloves, which is not allowed. 2, he's helping his brother and his cousin outside of work without following correct procedures. 3, he's hiding a conflict of interest. So his cousin is actually a client at First Access and he hasn't told your manager about it. And 4, he's asking you to keep it a secret. So now you've decided to meet with your supervisor, John Ford, as Duker, and you decided to report everything. So you're doing this because you know it's important to follow the legal and the ethical rules, even if it's awkward. So during the role play, you're going to sit down with John Ford and you're going to tell him what you saw. So talk about what Lachlan said, talking about like taking the supplies and supporting his family using First Access resources without permission. Then you got to explain why this is a problem. So this could obviously be theft, conflict of interest, and a breach of policy. Talk about the risks. So like putting clients at risk, going against the code of conduct, and breaching privacy and confidentiality rules. Refer to First Access policies like code of conduct, privacy, confidentiality policy, conflict of interest, and workplace health and safety. And also stay professional during the interaction with John and also respectful. Make it very clear that you understand the cultural side of things, but you're doing what's right for the client and the workplace. Okay. So what are we looking for here? So the assessors, the guys, the people who will be marking us, and myself and the other trainers, we want to see that you can recognize a legal and ethical dilemma. So what's going wrong here? How you report the issue to the supervisor, how you talk about the policies and rules that were broken, and your demeanor, how you stay calm, professional, and respectful during your interaction with the supervisor. Okay, again, minimum of 5, maximum of 10. Okay, any questions? Any questions for the 3 role plays that we have to complete? So we've got Ben.
Oh, mate, I'm stuffed. I'm very, in a way, far behind.
That's all right. That's all right. What we'll do is if you're willing to do the role plays next week, you don't have to go first straight away. You can watch a few before you give it a shot.
I'm not worried about doing them. It's just like, obviously, it's escalating because,
yeah.
long story short, like I've had a lot of crap going on as you know the next person, but also with this new job, you got to sit down and do all these modules and stuff, and I've just been trying to toss that up between schoolwork, that, and then help mum with dad. Yeah, been pretty full on, but no, look, no excuses. Just I don't know. I was just gonna say, should I email my sponsor Jesse, or like, do I set up a meeting for you, or I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think the best way to get back on top of things.
Sure. Yeah, we can do you can email me, and if you want to have a session talking about, how we're going to manage your studies and that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries, mate.
All good.
Thanks.
All right, mate. Laura?
Yeah, I think I missed it before, but I might need to get these sent to me as well. I haven't seen them in my material.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's fine.
Yeah. I also reset my internet, so hopefully you can
It's a lot better.
Yep, great.
Laura, is that your name that you've enrolled with?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just send this email now before I forget. CHCLEG001 Laura. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
No problem. So let's have a look at this one again. So this is the one we're going to do next week, guys. So we're going to do task 3 role play next week. So can I just get a show of hands for those who will be attempting this role play next week? $13, $14, $15, $17, $20. Okay, $20. Excellent. Very good. All right, so this one we'll do this one first. So we've got about, all right, thanks guys. You can put your hands down. That's all good. I don't need to team you guys up. I think this is quite straightforward. So I'll just team you guys up on the day. I just want you guys to make sure you go through this, go read the role play instructions carefully. Let me just open it up. Sec. Let me open this up. Mickey, did you have a question? No. Tiffany, did you have a question? No. Okay. All right. I think what we can do what we done last week with Sam, when Sam was kind enough to do the role play. So who wants to give this a shot today?
I'll do it again. Cheers, mate.
You're welcome. You're good, mate. All right, so Sam is going to play the role of Estelle.
Typical Sam.
It's still. All right.
All right.
And I'll play the role of Dia, the supervisor that knows what the problem is. And who's going to play Juka? Can someone play Juka for us?
Ronnie can. I'll just have to read it.
Okay.
Give me 2 secs.
Yeah, all right, mate. I'll just put up on the screen if you want.
Yeah, but
I don't know if you can see it properly there, but
no, I won't be able to. Which one is it?
tasks 3.
Oh. Okay.
So you'll be playing the role of Juka, who's a colleague, doesn't know much about what's going on. There's some conflict there.
Okay.
Juka. Is there 3 role players in this?
That's right.
Task 3 has 1 role play. Task 4 has 2 role plays.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, so the first one is the email.
Yep.
No, give me a sec. Oh shit. No, don't do that. No, give me a sec. Hurry up and open. Okay. Juka. Sorry, I'm just trying to.
You're all right, mate. It's all good.
Check that out. So I don't have to come in until the end, yeah?
Oh, we'll just talk together and then you'll say one, I think something about the neighbor or something.
No, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah. All good?
I guess, yeah.
You
want my camera on, don't you?
Yes, please. If everyone else can turn your cameras off, that will be appreciated. All right. So really, the interaction is really between Sam and me. And
Yeah.
Barney, you're there. You make comments here and there, and that's pretty much it. Sam, do you have your ID just so we can show the guys how we do role plays, how it's supposed to be done?
Not on me. Should I go get it?
No, it's all right. Just pretend you're showing some ID. So, guys, when we do role plays, for those who haven't done it, in the beginning, what you do is you introduce the topic. So, for example, this one, you'll say, "Hi, my name is Chayan Evdodo. I'm here to cover unit CHCLEG001, work legally and ethically, task 3 role play. I'll be playing the role of Estelle. I have a meeting with my manager, Dia, and colleague Duke about some issues that I raised. This is my ID, and then you start the role play. Okay? If you do these role plays at home, you've got to make sure that your family and friends that are helping you with the role play have to be in camera. They have to be seen on camera. Please don't edit the video. Just do the role playing as one cut and submit it. All right. Sam, when you're ready, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, Sam Tway here for units CHCLEG001, doing the role play of task 3.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Okay, let's go.
Hello, Dyer, Juka. How's it going today?
Good.
Good, thanks.
How you going, Estelle? All good?
Yeah, I'm going very well. I just wanted to talk about the email that I sent you and
Yes.
some of the improvements that we can make to improve the workplace. Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah, I read your email. As you know, I responded back to you. I was speaking to Juka briefly about it. He doesn't know too much about it, but yeah, if you can just go through your 2 improvements or the suggestions that you made, and we'll start from there.
Yeah, right. So the first improvement comes from when I was in the storeroom and I was on the step ladder to get some supplies for coffee. And while I was on the step ladder, there was a Stanley knife, and that Stanley knife nearly poked my eye out. So I just wanted people to know that they should put things away properly in the storeroom. One of the things I did mention in the email was to put some signage up.
Estelle, before we go to your recommendation, so the first problem that you brought up was that the storeroom was a mess. Is that right? And there was a Stanley knife that was left open.
Yeah, it was very disorganized, and it was left on one of the boxes there.
That's a shame. What was the second thing that you brought up?
Well, one of my coworkers was on the phone, and she was very disparaging of a few clients in regards to their personal situations. So I just wanted to make sure everyone reviewed the confidentiality policy, and also there's a number of other policies that could be reviewed, such as the incident, the privacy and confidentiality policy and procedure, and code of conduct policy as well.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds good. So with the second one, can you just explain that to me again? What was the issue with the second one?
The second one was that she was speaking ill of clients, such as, there was a client in a wheelchair who wanted to bake, and she said that it takes too much time to build a ramp to go to the kitchen.
That was Sandra, yeah? Sandra was talking about the client?
Yeah, Sandra was talking about the client, and I just felt that wasn't on.
Yeah.
So
that's a real shame that you overheard someone, obviously not reflecting our values, because I think we have a job and where we need to vent and talk about things, and talk things out occasionally. But I think there's definitely a way of doing that, and talking behind someone's back is definitely not a way of doing that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And one of the suggestions I did also put in the email was a refresher on these type of policies, to make it known, because if one of the clients overheard that, then that would be a huge legal and ethical dilemma there. So I just wanted to ask you guys if you thought that was reasonable, because
I think I think the storeroom, what you brought up about the storeroom is very reasonable. I myself I've experienced some mishaps in that storeroom, just with some slip safe signs not being put out when there's been liquid on the floors. And I think it's a good idea to get in there and make some changes before an accident does happen, or a serious incident for that matter.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like this could be fixed with my suggestions, but there might be more improvements that could be made. So I just wanted to see what you guys thought, if there are to be any improvements made on those.
With the storeroom one, what do you think we should be doing in terms of, like, it was unfortunate you found in the mess and the standing night was left in open space. What do you think we can do instead, like, on top of reviewing our policies, WH&S policies? What else do you think we can do to improve that area?
We should definitely put some signage up. Signage, and I feel that would be very effective. If
I think an email, I think a staff email sent out would be a good idea, just to help communicate and get what you're trying to say across to each staff member, so they've got it in writing as well. I think that would be
excellent.
A handy way to tackle it.
Yeah, so we'll email the staff. We'll put some signage up as well.
Yeah.
And on top of that, do our refresher on the WH&S policies and procedures in the workplace, and also touch on the code of conduct as well.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
All right, so I'm happy with that. So what about the second issue that you raised, which was concerning as well, with Sandra? And I think Rani knows Sandra.
Yeah, so my neighbour Sandra, she works here sometimes as a part-time employee. I'm not sure if you know her, but she was telling me the other day how she loves the values and that we have created here, and how supportive our network our workplace can be, and she couldn't speak highly enough of the work that we all put in to keep this environment a safe space.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great to hear. Maybe in regards to Sandra, she had a bit of a bit of a moment on the phone where she forgot about our policies and procedures. So I feel like it would be best to remind Sandra of them, and everyone else for that matter, so that this type of situation doesn't arise again. I feel that would be a good way to go about it. Just so, not judging anyone here, but it does need to be reminded. And like you said, your email to all the workers, I think that would be a good idea, as well as talking with Sandra one-on-one. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I think she needs to be spoken to, definitely, and just a reminder about our expectations when it comes to privacy and confidentiality as well. That we can't be speaking about our clients on the phone to people who don't work in the workplace, or even if they do, it shouldn't be done over a phone, especially if the person's not at work. So I think we need another reminder about that to all our staff as well, on top of that, alongside with the code of conduct as well. And I think we just got to remind staff that we need to promote autonomy and independence for our clients. And when our clients want to cook and do independent living activities, that we got to celebrate that instead of seen as a chore.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree, because with our clients, they come to us for help. They come to us to lead better lives. So, if we can do that, then that should be done, no matter the cost or the time, if it's reasonable. So
excellent. Did you have any suggestions for any improvements when it comes to our policies or our procedures in any of these areas, Sam? I mean, Estelle?
Yeah, I would say, I'd say you make it compulsory when it comes to the work health and safety policies. I would say you would make it compulsory to have signage when it comes to areas concerning suppliers, especially when there's sharp blades around. Maybe sharp signage specifically, just so everyone's aware. It puts everyone on alert, like that when you're going into the storeroom. There is in fact a hazard. I know I was just there to get coffee, but yeah, it could have turned ugly very, very fast and over something innocuous. So sharp signage. I'd say put that in the policy. And in regards to the code of conduct, maybe something specific in regards to when it comes to speaking about clients within earshot of other people as well.
Excellent.
I would say that if you can overhear it, then it's just going to cause problems for whoever's speaking that. So you got to make sure to keep your voice down when it comes to clients, because privacy and confidentiality does matter as well as it states in the policy. So
very good. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned them policies, the WHS code of conduct, privacy and confidentiality. And also it's important that we remind the staff about the client rights and responsibilities policy as well. I agree with that suggestion about staff being careful on how they speak about when they speak about clients, but we also got to make them mindful on how they speak about our clients as well. We don't want them to speak ill of our clients as well. So yeah, so I reckon that's good suggestions. What do you think, mate? Juka?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think reviewing all the policies, procedures, and that goes for anything, as you said, the work health and safety, all that sort of stuff. That all matters. So I believe that to have an organization that runs ethically and just runs smoothly. I feel like all the staff need to be fully up to date with all those policies and procedures. I think that and it leads to a better quality of care as well at the end of the day.
Okay, excellent.
All right. Is that all good?
All good.
All right, sweet. That's a pass. Yeah, that's part of the assessment.
It's close. No, you've done well. That's a pass.
Oh, all right, easy.
Cheers,
mate.
I will send you the feedback, and then you just have to attach that.
All right. Thank you, brother.
All right,
appreciate it.
All good. So as you can see, guys, that went for a bit longer than 5 to 10 minutes. I just wanted to make sure we covered everything so you guys can, see everything that can be spoken about. We're not going to solve all the problems in 5 to 10 minutes of that workplace. I just got to make sure you're hitting what we're looking for. So the first one is about clearly explaining to the supervisor and your colleague what the problems are. So the two main problems. So the WHS problem and the issue to do with a staff member breaching privacy and confidentiality. They're the two issues we want to talk about. Then you got to talk about why that's a problem. What's your ideas to resolve that problem? Talk about it in the round table. Ask everyone about their ideas and feedbacks, and also make sure always talking about policy and procedure. Why this is a breach of this? Why this is a breach of that? What we can do to improve this? What we can improve to do that? And also talk about a little bit about what you can do to improve policies as well, and also what you can add to policy and procedure as well in the end would be important. But again, I don't expect you guys to, solve all the problems. Just 5 to 10 minutes about covering as much as you can in that time frame. Okay. All right. So that's the first one. I think we've got a bit of time to cover the next one as well. Did someone else want to have a go? Other than Sam?
If no one wants to, I'll go again.
Yeah. It's up to you guys. A good opportunity to get it out of the way.
What's the next one?
So the next one is task 4. There's 2 parts to it. So part A is you're playing the role as Estelle. You're playing the role as Estelle again. You've been supporting a client named Emily, who has just been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Emily has been through domestic and family violence and wants to keep her health conditions private and from her family. Her sister Lara is not happy about this. She calls you and tries to get the information out of you. You have still done a very good job with not sharing that information, trying to explain the situation to her. She became very upset and abusive over the phone, and then you decided to speak to your manager, John Ford, about it and explain to him the situation. So it's a one-on-one role play with you. It's still with John Ford. Quite straightforward, I think.
I'll give it a go.
Good man. All right.
Just let me read the instructions.
Yeah.
Fuck. You pulled this one on me, didn't you?
It's all about building your resilience, mate.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, so am I? Oh no, am I John Ford?
You're Estelle, and I'll play
Okay.
John Ford.
Okay. I just need to. And then this task B is Juka.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a sec. Where the frick am I? No, get out of that, bro. What have I done here? Okay. She's been response and doctor. All right, so not me. Okay. However, one day, family's older sister Lara comes with him. Right. So it's pretty much just me standing up for the client, the client's right to maintain her health information from her family.
Yeah. I'll prompt you as well as you go along. So if you're missing something, I'll just ask you a question.
Oh.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Let's roll.
Rani, if you just want to introduce the topic and your name, you don't have to show ID. That's fine. Yeah.
My name's Rani, and this is a role play from CHCLEG001 with Work Legally and Ethically. It's task 4 of 4.
Part A. Yep.
Part A, yeah, sorry.
Okay. You'll play the role of Estelle, and I'll play the role of John. Right. Let's go. How are you, Estelle? How can I help you?
Am I playing? Hang on. Aren't you?
Estelle.
Sorry,
I'm
you're playing Lara, yeah?
No, it's John.
Oh, so we've already. Oh, so sorry. I've already. All right. I've already had the conflict with the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry. My bad.
That's all right. No. Part A is the email to John. So that part A is not a role play. It's just an email about the situation to John.
Is that?
Yeah. Part A is just the email. And then part B. Oh, am I looking at the wrong one? Sorry.
Yeah,
Give me a
yeah.
second.
So there's a scenario.
Yeah. So my bad.
And then I've got to organize, and then after the phone call, so it's a phone call.
Yeah. That's not. Just wait 1 sec.
Sorry.
1 sec. 1 sec. So part A is still. Yeah. So you're having a meeting with John about the phone call, about what happened. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah. Sorry.
you had
G'day,
a
John.
phone call with Lara.
Yeah.
She had an issue with you not sharing the information.
Yeah.
You hung up the phone, and then you're having a meeting with John Ford and explaining the situation.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Sorry.
Okay.
G'day, John. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going, Estelle?
Yeah. Look, it's been better. I've just as you know that I see my one of my clients, Emily.
Yeah.
She's a victim of domestic violence and family violence, and she's recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Yep.
And she's informed me upon her diagnosis that she doesn't want, she doesn't wish for her family or anyone to know of her medical condition that she's been diagnosed with.
Fair enough.
And obviously that's the forefront to this. So yes, so her oldest sister, she's came and she's requested to speak with me about Emily's health. And she's got quite aggressive over the phone, demanding that I share this information with her and her family members because their family or whatnot. And I went back to I've gone back to Emily and just let her know that this is what's happened as well. And just to get her views on whether she would give me consent or if she wished to remain, if she wished, her original wish still stood. So she's informed me that she still doesn't want me to disclose that information. So I've had to, try and calm down her sister Lara and just explain to her that first access have privacy and confidentiality policy.
Yes.
And it's just explained about the legal requirements around protecting her sister's privacy and confidentiality.
Yeah.
And just went into depth about it's at the end of the day it's Emily's choice. I can't speak on her behalf without her consent. So she's just continued to get aggressive and just argumentative and I'm a bit lost for what to do. I've done everything by the book. I've gone back to the client. I've explained the legalities of why I can't disclose that information to her and her family. Because obviously it's all about informed consent and just consent in general. And yeah, I just thought I would come to you and just get your take on things and just see if I handled that situation correctly, if I could have done anything differently. Yeah.
No, it sounds like you've done a really good job there. Just to summarize what happened, so I've got it clear in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So Lara requested some information about Emily's current diagnosis.
Yep.
Emily doesn't want us to share that information, and it's her right, in accordance to the client's rights policy. So she got every right not to share that information, which you didn't, which is good. Lara wasn't too happy about this. She kept on pushing you to get the information. You didn't. And then the phone call hung up. You tried to explain to her that because of the privacy and confidentiality policy, the code of conduct, and the client rights policy, we cannot indulge this information to you without the client's consent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. So it sounds like you stayed calm and respectful during the interaction, which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Do you suggest any improvements that we can make to avoid these kind of situations?
Yeah, I think making it, I think when it comes to extent, family members of clients, I feel like even though even though they are not necessarily receiving the services that we provide, I feel like, from this situation, I feel like it's maybe a good idea going forward that in the future that extended family members are also maybe prompted to understand our policies and procedures around these types of things, just to maybe, I guess, help avoid any confusion when it comes to this situation, these types of situations arising in the future. I feel like, I feel, I definitely feel like it could have been avoided if Lara had a bit more knowledge on the way that we run our organisation.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Inviting them to an info session with Emily or whoever the client is, so just that they understand why we do certain things, or even we can even send them a something in the pamphlet to their home as well, in a letter.
Yeah.
Just explaining our policies and procedures and just why we do the things that we do in terms of confidentiality and privacy and clients' rights and so on.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think that I think it could be avoided just going forward if especially if the immediate family of clients are definitely in the loop. I feel like it will help avoid this, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's completely Emily's choice whether she wishes to disclose that information to anybody. So
yeah, awesome. All right, thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
Thanks, mate. Done. All right, well done.
Well done, Ronnie.
Thank you.
All right, we've got another one. We've got the one from Juka now.
All right, well, I'm already here. I'm already on it.
Yeah, good.
Well done.
Thank you.
I'll give you a moment to
just
read it.
Yes, that'll be good.
Did you want them to read out a summary?
Yeah, this one's a bit longer, isn't it? All right. Oh, I already had it open. Go away. Supervisor, as he reports the situation of the colleague taking supplies and caring for his cousin, not going to disclose that my family. So you're John Ford. Okay. Shit. Yeah. Wait. Do you have a summary?
I can give you a snapshot, of what I read. So you're playing the role of Duker.
Yeah.
You just found out that Lachlan, your co-worker, is taking supplies home like medicine and gloves, which is not allowed, obviously. Helping his brother and cousin outside of work without following correct procedure. He's hiding a conflict of interest, so his cousin is actually a client at First Access, and he hasn't told your manager about it, and is asking you to also keep this a secret. And you've decided not to, and to speak to your supervisor, John, and report everything that's happened. You're doing this because you know it's important to follow the legislation side of things, ethical rules, even if it's an awkward situation. So
I've just got to.
You don't have to do it. It's all right.
I'm just trying to quickly the next. So I've already confronted him, and now I'm coming to you for, correct?
Yeah. He's asked you to keep it a secret, but you thought better, and you thought that you should do the right thing and report the situation.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, let's go.
All right. All right, so we're here to cover Unit CHCLEG001, work legally and ethically, Task 4, role play, Part B, Duke SEP. Duke is going to have a meeting with the supervisor and just report some misconduct in the workplace. All right, when you're ready, Rani.
Hey, John, how are you, mate?
I'm good. What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
I've got a bit of a, I guess, an incident that I sort of need to report, and I want to try and nip it in the bud before it sort of gets out of hand. Do you have a second to have a chat?
Of course. Yeah, let's talk.
All right. So yesterday I was, I noticed Lachlan taking home some supplies. It appeared to be, some Panadol, some bandages, and some gloves. So I confronted him and just asked him what was going on. The next day, I just asked if he was taking supplies home and just asked if everything was okay and what was going on. And he didn't really, like the fact that I guess that he'd been caught. He got quite defensive about it all. And yeah, I just tried offering my support to him and just tried also giving him the chance to speak. He also asked me not to disclose this to anybody, just because he could get fired. He also was saying that his cousin is a client here at First Access that no one was aware of.
Okay.
So yeah, I just thought I would ask you for some support and just thought I would bring you in on what's going on. Obviously, I couldn't just ignore that due
of course.
due to the legalities of it, and the conflict of interest as well. Excuse me, is a big thing as well. So
definitely. So I thank you for coming. You've definitely done the right thing. So let's just break this apart.
Yeah.
Step by step. So the first thing is he's taken supplies home.
Correct.
So you said medicine and gloves and so on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously that's not allowed. Breaches our code of conduct.
Yeah.
As well. And he's taken these to help his brother and cousin outside of work.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And he also went on and explained that his brother sort of refused to seek help. So, and obviously it's a conflict of interest if his brother was here and same with his cousin,
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought of I just said, if you need, if your brother or cousin want help, we can, give them recommendations on other services, the same, that offer the same services as what we do. But obviously for the conflict of interest and just, knowing people's backgrounds and having a relationship with them outside of here, it just clouds people's judgments and it clouds us as support workers, our decision making and all those sorts of things. So I thought I would just give him that support as well, and yeah, so that's But then I've obviously got an obligation to report these types of things when they occur as well.
Yeah. So we've got them two issues, and then we've got him hiding the conflict of interest he has with his cousin.
Yeah.
He's one of our clients, so that's another concern. Is also asking you then to keep this a secret.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of alarm bells in terms of policies and procedures being breached.
Yeah.
The obvious one is obviously the code of conduct.
Correct.
Breached the code of conduct at every single point there.
Yeah. And I think the privacy and confidentiality as well.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And
I think you mentioned the conflict of interest policy as well.
I think that's a big one. That, like I said, you want to be able to provide a good quality of care. So and you don't want any clouded judgment with that. And having a conflict of interest in the workplace, that definitely hinders that. So I think I'm not the manager, but I feel like
it definitely does. Yeah, you're right. And I think also WHS policy as well.
Yeah.
It breaches that because it's taken our supplies, which might limit our resources for a client that we need to support. So
and then really at the end of the day, it's theft.
Yes.
And I don't think that's accepted at any workplace. So that's why I came forward and just thought that was the correct way to handle it.
Excellent. So so you've clearly explained to me what's going on. You spoke about the problem, what the risks are, policies and procedures that have been breached. What do we need to do with him, or what do you think we should be doing? He obviously needs our support, and we also got to look after our workplace as well, make sure this doesn't happen again. So, what are some suggestions you have?
Well, look, I think to do with the supplies, I feel like I don't think that, as bad as it is, I don't think that anybody should just have a key to the cabinets. I think especially if this kind of thing is going on, how long's it been going on for? What else could potentially go missing? I think that we definitely need to have a better system in place where people just can't walk in and take things as they please.
Yeah.
I think also, I'm not sure how it would work around background checks, around people that work here as well and their extended family, just to avoid that initial conflict of interest, or to avoid offering services to someone that might be a cousin or might be a brother to someone that works here, and then have to withdraw those services, and then that client have to start the process all over again. I feel like that's a waste of time for them and a waste of time for us as well. So
yeah, I think we just got to explain to everyone through email and our conversations about the conflict of interest policy. Just explain to people that this doesn't mean we can't provide a service to your family members. We just need to know that you have a conflict of interest in the workplace in case the issue arises.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I think an email will be okay. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely open for that. That's as long as I think, and it comes down to communication too, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, and I think with Lachlan, I think I'll have a conversation with him, obviously as the manager and the other supervisors. We'll talk to him about the breaches and of the code of the policies, all the policies that he breached, and just, maybe refer him to EAPS, counselling service as well.
Yeah, cool.
If he needs assistance as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, awesome. He obviously needs some help, and yeah, I think that would be very beneficial for him. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think the next step here is that you just complete all your incident report. Just put this on paper.
Yeah.
Well, and send that to me as soon as you can.
Oh, easy done.
Okay, all good. Thank you for thank you.
Thank you.
All done. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll send you feedback on both them.
Right. So will you send them back as?
I'll send it as assessment feedback, and you just got to attach it to the portal, your portal, and then I'll just mark it as.
Oh, so you'll send separate for each one.
I'll just send you one, and I'll have them both in that document.
So I can just put that one in both tasks.
Yeah. So I'll have the title as part A and B.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hopefully, it gives you guys a bit of a guide on how the role play should be conducted over the next fortnight. So next week we'll cover task 3. So just as a reminder, let me just share my screen. What am I sharing here? All right. Can you guys see the assessment there? Yeah. All right. So the first role play next week we'll be covering is task 3. So this is the one we just done with Sam, the first one. So this is the meeting with his supervisor, Dia with Juka. You'll be playing the role as Estelle. You'll be meeting with Dia and Juka about a email that you sent Dia. It's about the 2 workplace concerns that she identified in the workplace. One was a WHS issue, and the other one was a privacy, confidential and privacy issue as well. So we will talk. We will conduct them role plays next week. I would likely put you guys in groups of 3, which will it'll be a lot easier for all of us if you guys can get it all done. That way, towards the end, I can cover some content of the unit as well. There's some good videos I want you guys to watch as well, so hopefully we can do that. If we get in the group of 3, if you guys have 10 minutes each, it's 30 minutes. So really, we should be done by 40 to 50 minutes the role plays if we got 3 per group. Okay. Any questions before we call it a night? No? All right. Again, there is no pressure for anyone to have a go at the role plays next week. It's not mandatory. You can do it in your own time with your family, your friends, or with the learners at another time when you're a bit more comfortable, when you feel a bit more ready.
I think
That's completely fine. Yeah. Tony?
I was just gonna say for the new people this week, how to access, well, to get to first access and what it is.
Uh-huh.
Like, because I use it all the time because I don't work.
Go for it. You want to explain it or?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't. No, not really, Sean.
All right. First exit. I
Uh-oh.
don't know if is it here?
It's pretty much just a made up portal that Hader have made
Yeah.
that has their own a range of all these different policies, procedures, templates for assessments, all these types of things that you may need for assessments. It's all in there, and you can access that by going and then Kayan, take it away.
So I don't know why that access is not on every single assessment. Because some of the assessments it shows you, prompts you where to go
Yes.
Yeah.
for the policies and procedures. Like this one, you need to go there. I don't know why it doesn't show you here. But do you know what unit it was on, Tony? Let me go have a look. I'll get the access and I'll send it out to you guys now.
Well, if we need it on this one.
So which unit does it give you that information? Do you remember?
I know it does on I believe it does on CC something recognize and respond to crisis situations. But I'm not sure if people are up to that. So
yeah, it's just a link, but they don't always give you a link.
Okay. Was it in M002?
Ooh, you got me thinking.
Let's have a look. Might have been.
I think it was in whichever, not our last unit, but the unit before. I can't remember what the code.
P003?
Yes,
Was that not diverse people? What was that?
your own practices,
Yeah,
something.
there we go. Professional practice or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it had all that forms you guys had to complete.
Yeah, templates and stuff.
Yeah.
The
A
fun.
minute. Yeah.
Good job, guys. All right. Overview and instructions. It's not there. Jeez. Interesting. I'll have to find it and share with you guys later on. That's fine. I'll email it out to you guys.
Yeah. Thank you, son.
All good. Thank you. Yasmin?
I was just gonna ask, like, I missed out on the role play from last week, and you did send out an email if and when there's time we can catch up, but I don't know if there's gonna be because there's so many. Like, what happens then?
Which one was it, Yasmin?
The between Ryan, Hader,
Oh, yeah, we can do that next week.
okay.
During the break. I'll get a couple of the guys to
I think Nikki missed out as well. She messaged in the chat.
I think me and Mickey are gonna try to get it done with Martin and whoever else. So you can we were gonna do it on because that one's not a CHCLEG, is it?
No.
Yeah, so we were gonna organize to try to get it done on Monday if you want to join.
I'd love to. Yeah.
Amazing. You're now Discord?
You mean Yasmin that work with diverse people?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
It's CHCDIV001.
Yes, that's one.
I am in the Discord, so I'll just send a message through there and find out the time. Or
I think we were going to do like midday Monday if that works.
I don't have anything on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, Yasmin, you're in a different Discord, so I'll send you the link for the other one.
All right. Thank you.
No worries.
Mine's the cool kids one. I apologize.
And Beleen, maybe if you could send me your email through the chat.
Yeah,
and if I miss something or I can't connect.
Yeah, I'll send it now. And I've actually put the link to mine is in the chat. So I'll just put my email in.
Thank you.
All right. Loyal.
Hey guys, sorry, I just had a couple of questions.
Of course.
One is next week when we do our role plays, we have to record them. So do we record them in the session on our own and then submit them, or is it a recording that you will have and then we take that and submit it?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so you'll have the option of recording from your end, the Zoom recording. Yeah. So when you press the record button from your end, it'll ask me to give you access, and I'll just press yes, and then you'll be able to record. Just when
Thanks for that. And then
when you record it, you just got to record it to the computer. So it gives you two options to record it to the computer or to the cloud. You got to record it to the computer, not the cloud.
Okay.
Because when you record it to the cloud, it only shows one screen at a time, and we need to see all of you guys at the same time.
Oh, okay. All right. I need to figure that out. All right. Then my other question was in relation to the Discord, is there a way that I can be added to the Discord group?
Did you get the login details from Hatter?
No, I haven't had anything from Hader yet in relation to Discord.
Just email LSO about getting to Discord, how to get it connected, and I'll give you all the details. These guys have all the secret links and all that, so I'm sure they'll share that with you.
Oh, it's in the chat. It's in the chat, yeah.
And they've got a WhatsApp group as well. I don't know if they're going to invite you to that as well. I don't know if it's a...
I don't have the WhatsApp. Who's run that one?
I'm being left out of another group. I'll kill you.
Thanks.
I thought it would have been you who ran the WhatsApp and didn't invite me.
No, just the cooler Discord. That's all.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Any other questions, guys? No. Excellent. All right, I'll share this recording later on tonight with you guys. thanks for joining. If you've got any questions during the week about the role plays, please email me. I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have a great week, and I'll see you guys on.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a
Thanks,
great
Jan.
night,
Have a
everyone.
night,
great,
everyone.
have a great
See
week.
you, mate.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Go Pies!
Bye.
Yeah.